Oh, this should be interesting. Ain't seen the nerdrotic in a while. Go ahead and get over there and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. Check this out, because this backlash is getting bigger and bigger. And it's just weird that Christopher Nolan is talking about accuracy, and he's changing all these things in the movie, making them inaccurate. Doesn't make any sense. But everyone said this is Oscar bait. He's going for Oscars. He's checking the boxes. So y'all said they would never get him. Oh no, Christopher Nolan would never go modern audience. You don't know who he works for. You don't know who's paying his checks. You don't know who's above him. You don't know. If you don't know them personally, and sometimes even when you know someone personally, you don't know what they're really willing to do for an Oscar or money or extra fame or whatever it is. Clout. I don't know why he's doing it, but it is what it is. Check this out.
This idea was also explored in a book called Black Athena. I think people should read it, which argues that classical Greek culture is heavily indebted to Afro-Asiatic and Near Eastern roots. I actually taught Greek mythology to 8th graders. And so I covered this. So people that are saying that Helen of Troy could not possibly be played by a Black woman don't know history.
But what you just said.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It describes her. Okay? It's kind of similar to how Snape is described. In that, the way she's described, is a white person. And the way he's described, is a white person. You know what I'm saying? So just no matter what color the character is, whether they're black or white or anything in between, just keep them faithful to the writings. No matter what you're bringing to the screen, and people are going to be a lot happier with you.
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to
what movie is this?
That could be considered.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Nerdrotic.com. Greetings, you over 1 million practitioners of common sense.
I love that shot right there, man.
Supply these days, and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Without a doubt, Christopher Nolan.
Right when he turns around, I'm like, damn, looks cool.
Most notable director.
He's
the last movie star, the only guy in Tinseltown who can consistently put butts in seats on his name alone. And there's no.
James Cameron can too. James Cameron can too.
Better proof of that than Oppenheimer, a 3-hour biopic where a bunch of it's in black and white. People are just sitting around and talking.
James Cameron don't miss. He's unstoppable. If I had to bet all my money on any director, past, present, or future right now, because I can't time travel, I'm betting it on Cameron. He don't miss. And he just turns out the $1 billion movies. He takes 19 years to make a movie, and he comes out, whether you think it's great or not. If you need your profits to soar, if you want to make your money back, bet on Cameron.
And almost made $1 billion and won a lot of Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Nothing you guys don't know already, yet it doesn't make it any less insane, but that is the power of Nolan. That's why it's surprising to be in this unusual territory of having to talk about Christopher Nolan's name mired in controversy. And no, it's not because of the questionable sound mixing where you're watching some of his movies at home and you constantly have to have your finger on the volume button. And no, it's not because of some of the questionable science and interstellar.
Which one of his movies is like that? Because I haven't noticed. That's funny now. So he has funny sound mixing, huh? Didn't know that.
Or the questionable quality of The Dark Knight Rises. And listen, there's no question that movie's terrible.
I told people, if Bane wasn't in that movie, we got a major problem. Bane made the movie for me. If Bane wasn't in it, see, with The Dark Knight, they did a real good job with Batman in a lot of those scenes. And I'm kind of like, and I'm thinking of it right now. I'm like, if the Joker wasn't in it, say it was the Riddler, would it have been as good? Possibly. I don't know what Nolan's take would be on the Riddler, though. But, the fact of the matter is, superhero movies usually you know, you're going to have to weigh it on the scale of both the hero and the villain. A lot of times the villains really do make the move. Like Jack Nicholson was so funny in Batman 1989. I mean, you know, Michael Keaton was good as Batman, but they needed Keaton's Joker for it to be as good as it was. You know, so it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship there. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I know this. I think that The Dark Knight Rises definitely needed Bane more than The Dark Knight needed the Joker. Because of he didn't show up till like an hour in the movie. I still enjoyed myself, but he didn't show up until Batman ain't show up until an hour into the damn movie. You can't do that. It wasn't like that with The Dark Knight. Dark Knight, he showed up. You know what I'm saying? He showed up early. Loitering. Y'all should all know what I mean. You know, so, yeah, let's keep going here.
Because despite all of those things, Nolan movies make a lot of money. And he's got the biggest and most enthusiastic fan base I have ever seen for a director. And yes, I'm including Steven Spielberg from the 80s. Now, occasionally, they can make a Snyder Bro sound reasonable because they're passionate. That's why, to say the least, it's a bit odd with the Odyssey that Christopher Nolan, the big daddy of Hollywood, is playing the Hollywood game when he doesn't need to. People used to joke that Christopher Nolan could probably use a real atom bomb in Oppenheimer, and the truth is, if he really wanted one, they would find a way. So when some of the questionable casting of the Odyssey was announced, Christopher Nolan got something that he earned by...
I'm just going to tell you the way I think right now. At this point, I do not think that anyone is beyond getting pulled into making modern audience stuff, okay? These directors and these actors all have control over what they say yes to and no to. Now, who knows? Maybe they owe certain people favors. Maybe there's a little bit deeper to it to where that maybe they don't have a say. Maybe they signed on for a certain contract to make a certain amount of movies for a certain amount of things, and I get that. But beforehand, they had a choice of whether to sign that contract or not. You get what I'm saying? So when people say, I don't blame the actor, no. The actor had a choice of whether they wanted to be in that movie or not. You get what I'm saying? Okay. If I was a Hollywood actor and someone said we want to cast you as Iron Man, I would say no. Because I know where that's going. And I know what they're doing. No. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to steer your career in the right way. But you never know. See, there's respect to the fans and there's respect to your peers. If you can get respect to the fans and the peers at the same time, that's like, oh, bravo. But sometimes to keep working, people are desperate. And they want the respect of their peers more than they want the respect of the public because maybe it'll keep them working. So they'll take roles that they know they shouldn't take. That'll get them backlash and problems and booed. Just because the machine's moving that way. The higher ups say, oh, well, look, he took that. You know what I'm saying?
Hollywood doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. And let's face it, most of the casting is pretty good. Now, Matt Damon isn't anyone's first choice for Odysseus, but he's not bad. Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Anne Hathaway, John Bernthal, Mia Goth, James Remar, and even Charlize Theron, because the more time she spends on a set filming a movie, the less time she spends adopting children and changing them. But after that, it gets pretty bad. Let's face it, when people are overlooking Zendaya playing Athena, you know you're in trouble. I don't have anything against Zendaya, and I don't think she's as bad as Pedro Pascal. I am just curious as to why she gets cast in so many productions when she...
This is what they should have did. If they didn't want any backlash at all, if this is a Greek thing, then everyone should look somehow Greek. You need to take a look at Greek people and whatever spectrum Greek people run on, you need to pick that. And I'm not talking about somebody from a different ethnicity or nation that was born there. And it's like, yeah, if I was born in Russia, I'd be a black Russian. But you know what I mean. Okay, so have them all look as close to Greek as possible. And then they wouldn't have had, I don't think they would have had no problems.
as the acting range of Tessa Thompson. Then there's John Leguizamo, who has consistently argued that Latinos should play Latino roles. By that logic,
which doesn't make sense. He shouldn't have played Luigi then, because Luigi's Italian.
Shouldn't be playing Eomeus unless my geography's bad and Colombia is located in the Aegean Sea. Of course, there's rapper Travis Scott, who I'm totally familiar with, who was cast as the Bard, where Christopher Nolan said, I cast him because I wanted to nod towards the idea that this story has been handed down as oral poetry, which is analogous to rap.
Is it though?
In that case, I almost wish I was going to be around in a couple of thousand years as people pass on the oral history of Baby's Got Back. Anyway, I think Asmongold has a better and more savage alternative casting for Travis Scott.
Maybe he should have cast Travis Scott as Hades. That way he could send people to the underworld like he did with Astroworld.
8 people in the crowd.
Oh, no.
Then we get to what may or may not be the worst of the casting. It has been rumored for months that
Burned
Lupita
him with that.
Nyong'o is playing Helen of Troy, and just a couple of days ago, it was confirmed. The face that launched 1,000 ships and the face that was behind Will Smith right
Hank.
after he smacked the shit out of Chris Rock at the Oscars.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm good.
Yo, it's funny. Everyone was like, yo, why did he laughed at the joke? Why did he get up and smack him like that if he laughed? And everyone kept saying, Lupita, no. Lupita, no.
A decision that has earned the label the AWDEIC, and it's got everyone scratching their head and asking Christopher Nolan, what the are you doing? The man known for grounding.
I'm not surprised at all. I've been telling you a lot of these big companies and big people can be swerved. You don't know who they owe a debt to. You don't know who they signed a contract to. You don't know who's paying them. Okay? So when everyone said that GTA 6 was supposed to come out last year, and the big rumor running around was that they modern audience it up. They woke it up, and that's the reason why that they delayed it. It's a high possibility because they saw the destruction that DEI and modern audience and all this stuff was doing to everything. And they want this to be a legit, the biggest launch ever in entertainment. So if they want to do that, they better get the fans on their side and give them what they want. Now, GTA, they make fun of both sides and talk about everybody, but they got to do it right because the fans have magnifying glasses out now and they see everything you do. They're paying extra attention to what you do. So if you F up, they're going to point it out.
Things even with the wildest concepts. The guy committed to realism and technical craftsmanship goes full Netflix. From the same global entertainment industry that gave us Black Cleopatra, Black Little Mermaid, Black Anne Boleyn, Latina Snow White, Black Female Dwarves, Black Elves, Black Female Viking Queen, Jarl Hacken, and Black Snape. We get Black Helen of Troy, who is originally from Sparta. And I would expect this from the rest of Hollywood, but not from Chris Nolan. And that...
It doesn't surprise me at all. And it irritates me so much that you keep using my people to do that, especially like in particularly in something like DC or Marvel, where you literally have original Black characters that are superheroes that they can bring in. But instead, they race swap them. It's almost like they're on purpose trying to piss fans of all the characters that they do this to, piss them off. And, you know, they gender swap, they race swap, and they sexuality swap. And they keep doing it. When they literally have a wealth of characters of different ethnicities and races that they can use that are original. And they have a wealth of female characters and male characters that they can use. It doesn't make any sense that they keep doing it. Other than, I guess, to check boxes to win an Oscar.
That's why the rumor of Paige playing the ghost of Achilles, something that a lot of people thought was preposterous a few days ago, has now become believable. And the memes have been glorious.
Here we go. Here it comes. Yo. I saw that one, Trojan. Oh, good Lord.
And on top of that, Elon's been dunking it, and it actually made the news.
Famous Hollywood director Christopher Nolan, this guy right here, is making a movie based on the book, the poem, The Odyssey. And I'm not kidding when I say any of this. But the role of Achilles will reportedly be played by Elliot Page.
Now, it has to be stated this has not been confirmed, but you can't blame anyone for believing it. Now, a lot of people think it's going to be Elpenor, a former crew member who died accidentally, who's begging Odysseus in the underworld to find his body so he can give him a proper burial. Or Page could be playing Anticlea, Odysseus' mother, who Odysseus can call mommy. And yes, I had to look up how to pronounce these names because most of my bandwidth is used towards remembering Tolkien names, and if I get any of them wrong, I don't care. Speaking of Tolkien, things have gotten so bad that the Access Media feels they need to come in and sweep for Nolan. From Variety, The Odyssey, why Elon Musk and his troll army attacks aren't just silly but wildly inaccurate. For starters, since the casting announcement, people have been roasting this movie long before Elon Musk chimed in. And if you're going to say the trolls army's attacks aren't just silly but wildly inaccurate, I wouldn't have used the examples they're about to bring up. From the team that brought you Why is Snow White Latina? Why are there black people in the Rings of Power? And Star Wars has gone woke, comes the latest online onslaught against an anticipated Hollywood project that committed the unfathomable.
You know what doesn't make any sense to me? We know, okay, so when a person asks why is Snow White Latina, they're referring to the fact that the way she's described is not Latina whatsoever, okay? And then we're talking about why are there black people in the Rings of Power. Well, he wrote it about, it's a European fantasy. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like if I'm reading about an African nation, okay, and it's a story from there, and it's literally about all African people. If you switch out everybody for a bunch of white people, it doesn't work. Like these questions here don't make any sense because everyone knows why they're asking the question, and they're legitimate questions. It doesn't make any sense. Just stay faithful to the source material and you really can't go wrong. After that, it's execution. Stay faithful to the source material and then see how you execute your story.
Sin of having a diverse cast. Considering Snow White was 2025's biggest box office bomb, losing well over $200 million for Disney, with the Rings of Power Season 2, they lost 60% of their audience.
I can't believe they're doing the third season.
Where the Hollywood Reporter, Variety's sister website, because they're all owned by the same company, Penske Media, reported for Season 1, it only had a 37% completion rate, meaning 63% of the audience that started the season fell off.
Yeah,
so they lost 60% from the season where they lost 63%.
Beautiful and horrible at the same time. It was like dating a really stupid, good-looking woman. It was just horrible. Okay? And I did date one like that. I was just like, my God, this conversation is terrible. What is wrong with this woman? Why isn't... Whoo! And I gave her a chance twice. Okay, twice. The second time, I was like, okay, there is no really those 3 strikes with this. I've given it a second chance, and she's totally on a different level, different plane, different level of thinking. I don't know, man. She was nice for the most part, but
percent of the time, it works every time.
And what are you doing bringing up Star Wars? It's in the worst shape it's ever been. How bad? Well, 2 years ago, your sister website, The Hollywood Reporter, had to ask, is Disney bad at making Star Wars? And the answer is yes, and it's only gotten worse since then. So the only thing being silly and wildly inaccurate here...
You know what the wild thing is? They weren't. Like when The Force Awakens came out, people were excited. Just everything, just all this, the fan speculation abounded. Just we didn't know if she was Anakin incarnated. That's what I thought. I was like, she's got to be Anakin reincarnated or something. To be able to do all of that the way she was doing, wow, that would be a kind of a cool story. We thought that both him, Finn, and her were going to become Jedi. They're going to be, oh God. we were so excited. And with what they did, starting with The Last Jedi and just kept going, destroying everything. And Rogue One was good. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, what? Ugh. They know what to do. They decided not to.
Is you, the Access Media, which tracks. In recent days, Twitter trolls have formed a phalanx and pointed their saracens squarely at the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's $250 million adaptation of Homer's epic, scheduled to hit cinemas July 17th. They have not actually seen the film yet, mind you, but have nevertheless managed to work themselves into a lather over a pair of castings, though Paige's character isn't even confirmed yet. Paige as Achilles' ghost and Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy. Full disclosure, I didn't need to read that paragraph. I just wanted to get one more. So sue me. Forget that Achilles and Helen of Troy are both fictional characters navigating a mythological fate.
Yeah, just because they're fictional doesn't mean you're not supposed to stay accurate with them. Okay, so the next Batman that comes out, let's call him Doo-Doo Man. Let's dress him up like a giant turd. And he throws doo-doo rings, and he's got a doo-doo gun in the doo-doo mobile. Since it don't matter, let's make it about doo-doo. He's fiction. Let's make it all about doo-doo, okay? Let's see how well it works. And it might actually work on a certain level because people will be like, what the hell is Doo-Doo Man? Oh, well, it's Batman, but it's Doo-Doo Man. Well, why didn't they call it Batman? I don't know. He's fictional. So does it matter? Yes, it matters. Okay? Oh, my God. Listen, Garfield is a fat orange cat. If you make him a skinny white cat, it's not him no more. Like, what are y'all doing? Tom is a gray cat. If you make him a white cat, it's no longer Tom anymore. Jerry is a brown mouse. If you make him a gray mouse, it's not Jerry no more. You know what I'm saying? They're fictional, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, right.
Replete with a giant Cyclops, six-headed Skyla, and assorted other gods and monsters, or that these are just two actors in a giant cast that includes mostly white folks. And it's at this point we have to break out an old meme that still checks out. You can accept dragons, elves, and talking trees, but you can't accept a 2021 BMW 5 Series 530i with optional heated seating. Why are you so bigoted? Listen, my favorite part is the Paige's Achilles trying to open a jar of pickles meme actually made the article. Yes, I completely understand that this is not a historical tale. It is a mythological tale, but that mythology has a region/country of origin.
And you need to stick to it.
As I know, there isn't a single Greek actor cast in this film. In the prominent ensemble cast, yet it was important enough for Chris Nolan to build an actual ship that could withstand the chop of the Mediterranean in early spring, but also sail from Morocco to Greece to Italy as production moved location. Or technical realism, but one of the major pitfalls of modern fantasy these days is the complete loss of immersion. Or, as our good friend Robert Meyer Burnett likes to say, verisimilitude. Maybe there won't be a day I won't have to break out this J.R.R. Tolkien quote about adaptation, but today is not that day.
The canons of narrative in any medium cannot be wholly different, and the failure of poor films is often precisely an exaggeration and in the intrusion of unwarranted matter owing to not perceiving where the core of the original lies.
So Christopher Nolan thought it was prudent to build an actual seaworthy ship, which I think is cool as hell, by the way, and instruct composer Ludwig Göransson not to use an orchestra because they didn't have an orchestra back then. Instead, they're going to use 35 gongs run through a synthesizer because apparently they had synthesizers back then. But then you're not going to get the armor somewhat historically accurate.
What are they looking at? What are they looking at, guys?
He's picking and choosing what he wants to be accurate. That's what he's doing.
Should I be scared to click forward? Bro. Why did you have to do this to me? I'm going to have a heart attack. Nolan, what are you doing to me? Let me get this straight. We've got full plate steel armor. For some reasons, they're fat. So we've got obese steel plate with a late 15th century
Guess that's another check.
Italian barbute helmet. This is supposed to be, this is the Bronze Age. What are you on? What are you doing?
And then there's the use of American accents with British actors who don't have them and somewhat modern vernacular like Matt Damon yelling, "Let's go," or
My
the use
dad.
of the word dad or daddy. Based on what we've seen, this film is all over the place, so you can't blame people for thinking that the Odyssey looks awful. But aside from the questionable casting and the questionable costume choices and the overall inconsistency in adaptation, the other glaring red flag is the possibility that this film is based on Emily Wilson's 2017 translation of Homer's
everybody keeps
Odyssey
saying.
through a feminist lens. Something the professor of classical studies Emily Wilson kind of denies, because we all know feminist activist academics are some of the most objective people in the world. I didn't want to be in any way untruthful or irresponsible about what the original text is saying or doing. I tried to think as much as I could about how my own identities and histories might affect my interestedness in the poem as a woman and as a gender-aware feminist. Well. Now, some people might say correctly that Nolan has never stated that his film is based on any singular translation or Emily Wilson's. Fair enough, but he has invoked her name twice in 2 separate interviews. From Empire magazine in November of 2025, I think it's the Emily Wilson translation that begins, "Tell me about a complicated
Interesting.
bed." And then from the recent Time magazine interview, he mentions her name again when referring to a line spoken by Odysseus. A line in Emily Wilson's translation sums him up. Lying, Odysseus replied, "I will tell you the truth completely." Now, I wouldn't want to necessarily say that's a smoking gun, just like I wouldn't want to condemn Christopher Nolan for walking in a woman's march surrounded by pussy hats that hopefully his wife made him go to. Again, you expect this from Hollywood and the entertainment industry in the UK, but you don't expect it from Chris Nolan.
Damn
so
shame.
again, I have to ask the question, why?
I tell you now. Why? I tell you, nerdrotic, listen, it don't surprise me at all, sir. Just think about it. If they're in the Hollywood machine, it's a possibility that they will go along to get along.
Why? I was so excited about this movie. I bought my tickets months ago for the 70mm IMAX
Yeah, I
showing
didn't.
here in town. Christopher Nolan was essentially taking on high fantasy, the OG fantasy, that's mythology, the Odyssey, and this is the first time it's getting a big budget Hollywood adaptation. Something Hollywood has been sorely missing of late, not just the sword and sandals epic, but the Hollywood epic. And to be fair to Nolan, while the controversy has just recently hit the zeitgeist, and there's certainly some discourse on X, Twitter, and YouTube, if you go over to the Odyssey trailers, they are overwhelmingly liked. The IMAX showings were sold out a year in advance. Based on what I've seen with anybody else, I think this would be most surely a dumpster fire, but I don't know. It's tough to bet against Nolan. And for the people saying that this is going to be a flop, you might want to pump the brakes on that one. And if it was, I would be completely shocked. And hopefully this is much ado about nothing, and it's great. But I'm not loving what I see. And again, it's odd to see the Odyssey. I'll stop doing that. To see Christopher Nolan embroiled in the culture war. And now it's getting nuts. We got the history bros versus the Nolan bros versus the culture warriors, who some of them are Nolan bros, so they're conflicted. And it's definitely getting roasted on social media, including X, Twitter, and yes, Elon is still at it today. Even others have been saying Christopher Nolan is doing this to win awards. I disagree. Nolan doesn't need any more awards. He won them all with Oppenheimer alone. Let's just say
Maybe he wants more. Hey. The more you can place on the mantle, the more you can talk trash or hold your head high later on down the line in history. You know what I'm saying? Could always get more awards. He could always get more awards. We don't know what's in his head.
worst case scenarios are true. I think it's about the top dog of a dying industry reinforcing the bad ideas that led to the decline of Hollywood, which ultimately would be really disappointing. So the best way to shut everyone up will be if the movie's good. And it still wouldn't shut everyone up, but...
It's Hollywood, baby. nerdrotic.com.
Oh, man, good video, man. Good video. If you enjoyed my reaction and commentary, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Do you think it's going to flop? Like I said before, I don't know if it will flop. He may have popularity armor right now. It took Disney several movies to start flopping because of their good reputation. So this would be his first woked up movie, correct? I think. So if it is, then it may indeed be a hit. However, the sour taste will be in people's mouths, and they will be looking to see with a magnifying glass and microscope what he is doing later on. And then if he continues this path, then he's going to start getting flops because people don't want him. 10 million subscribers.